In this video we're going to be looking at multiplying and dividing fractions. Now don't worry, this is much easier than adding and subtracting. For example, I do not need the two denominators to be the same. So when I multiply two fractions together, I times both numerators together. So in this case I'm going to do 3 times 1, which is 3, and I multiply both denominators together. So in this one, 5 times 3, which is 15. When my answer is finished, I can have a look, see if there's any simplification that can occur, and in this one there is. Both numerator and denominator are divisible by 3, so I can call this 1/5. In the second example, I'm going to do much the same again. I'm going to do 2 times 3 for my numerator and 3 times 5 on my denominator, giving me the fraction 6/15. And just like in the previous example, this one will simplify and it will cancel the way down to 2/5. In this example, it's slightly more complicated as I've got mixed numbers. I have an integer part and a fraction part, so 1 3/5 is being multiplied by 2.5. To do this, first of all, I'm going to have to convert these to top-heavy fractions. You might also know these as improper fractions. So to turn the first one into an improper fraction, it's going to become 8/5. If you're unsure about how to convert between mixed and improper fractions, please see the relevant video for that task. And the second one is going to become 5/2. Once I have these two fractions like this, I just follow the same rules. 8 times 5/5 times 2 will give me a final answer of 40/10, which will simplify down to 4/1, or as we know it, just the number 4. Here are 4 examples to have a go at yourself. Pause the video here, try these examples. When you're ready for some answers, hit play and I'll talk you through them. Okay, so this first one I'm going to do 4 times 1, which is 4, over 5 times 2, 10. Now in terms of simplifying, this will cancel down to 2/5. This example I'm going to do 3 times 2, which is 6, over 4 times 7, 28. I know that this will simplify some. It will go to 3/14. These two examples, I actually have mixed numbers going on, so the very first thing I'm going to do is convert them to improper fractions. So this one is 9/5 and this one 7/3. When I multiply these two fractions together, I'm going to get 63/15. Now this is a top heavy fraction, so I'm going to need to put it back into a mixed number because that's where the question started off. So I ask myself, how many times will 15 go into 60? 3. And it goes in 4 times with 3 left over. I'm still not quite finished with this one because 3/15 will simplify, so I'm left with 4/5. In this example I'm going to do exactly the same thing, so I'm going to turn 2/5 into the top heavy fraction, 11/5, and I'm going to turn 1 1/4 into the top heavy fraction, 5/4. When I multiply these two together, I'm going to get 55/20, which is top heavy, so I'm going to need to tidy this one up. 20 goes into 55 twice, with 15 left over, so there's 15/20 left. And again, just like in the previous example, this will simplify to 2 3/4. Well done if you got all 4 of these correct. Okay, let's have a look at dividing fractions. So in this particular example, we've got 3/5 divided by 1/3. So I'm going to start with 3/5, and the way that I'm going to divide fractions is I'm going to take the second fraction and I'm going to write it upside down. So instead of 1/3, this becomes 3/1. Once I've done this, I can multiply the two together, and these two sums are the same as each other. So multiplying these together, I'm going to get 9/5. Now I can simplify my final answer here. 5 goes into 9 exactly once, with 4 left over as a final answer. In the second example, I'm going to approach this in the same way. It's going to be 2/3. Now the second fraction is going to flip upside down to become 5/3, and my divide sign turns into a multiply. 2 times 5 is 10, 3 times 3 is 9, and again this will tidy up to 1 1/9. Here are 4 to have a go at yourself. Pause the video here to have a go at these. When you're ready for some answers, hit play. Okay, let's have a look at these then. So the very first one, I'm going to get 1 over 5 times 3 over 2. So this is going to give me 3 over 10 as my final answer. And there's not really anything I can do to tidy that one up. This one down here, I'm going to flip the second fraction, so it becomes 3 over 2. Then I'm going to get 1 times 3, so a numerator of 3, and 4 times 2, which is 8, a denominator of 8. And again, there's nothing I can do to tidy this one up. The third example, I've flipped my second fraction around, so instead of 3/5 it becomes 5 over 3, and I'm going to do 4 times 5, which is 20, over 3 times 7, which is 21. Again, this one will not tidy up. So let's have a look at this last example. This one is the trickiest of the four. I actually have some mixed numbers here that I'm going to need to deal with. So I have an integer 2 and 2/5 divided by 1 and a half. First thing I'm going to do is turn these into top-heavy fractions. So this one here, 2 and 2/5, is also known as 12 over 5, and that's being divided by 3 over 2. Once I've got it in this format, I can follow exactly the same rules as before. I'm going to take this flat fraction, I called it a flaption. What's a flaption? Okay, the fourth example then. So this one is slightly trickier because I have some mixed numbers, 2 and 2/5 divided by 1 and a half. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to turn these into improper fractions. I'm going to make them top heavy. So this first one here is 12/5, and it's being divided by 3 over 2. Once I've got it in this format, I'm going to follow the same rules as before. I'm going to flip my second fraction upside down, so that's going to become 2 over 3, and I'm going to multiply it. So my final answer here is going to be 24 over 15. Now notice that both of these numbers are divisible by 3, so I think there's some tidying up that can happen here. If I divide them both by 3, I'm going to get 8 over 5. Still some tidying up to do because it's top heavy at the minute. 5 goes into 8 once with exactly 3 left over, so the final answer is 1 and 3/5. If you got all 4 of these correct, well done. That's quite a difficult skill that you've just mastered. Thanks for listening.